Welcome to our webinar, What's New in Zurich for SPM, Enterprise Architecture and Collaborative Work Management. I'm Deborah McGrath, Principal Product Marketing Engineer with ServiceNow. Today, we'll highlight the great new features in SPM, EA, and CWM. And to show us that, we'll begin with Doron Orbach, Director of Inbound Product Management, who'll speak about our EA Zurich Release features. Next up will be Greg Sand, Senior Principal Outbound Product Manager, who will show us new SPM capabilities, and then he'll hand it off to Lillian Yang, Senior Manager, Inbound Product Management, who will present what's new in Collaborative Work Management. First, we have some housekeeping. Please use the Q&A button to submit any questions, and we'll answer them for you. The webinar recording will be available from our community site within a few days. I have some links that I'll post for you in the chat to make it easier for you to access this. So now let's look at our safe harbor notice. While most of what we'll be discussing are features that are available as of the Zurich release, this presentation may contain forward-looking statements, all based on current information available, but your actual results may be different and should not be relied upon in making purchasing decisions. And now I'd like to welcome Doron, Greg, and Lillian. And Doron, let's kick things off with you.
Thank you very much, Deborah, and great to have you all on this webinar. And today we are presenting what's new in the enterprise architecture. And as you know, since last year where we launched the enterprise architecture, coming up from the application portfolio management side, we added quite a lot of features since then, both to the Oklahoma release and now to the Zurich release. And as you can see from this slide, the product has grown exponentially over the last releases, and this release is no different. And we emerge with new capabilities in our enterprise modeling part, which is things like business process modeling and being able to entirely model in the Archimate standard and then even transform it to our own common service data model standards. And of course, with a lot of relevant AI features that are now embedded into our enterprise architecture workspace. And you will see, moving on to the next releases, that we continue to invest heavily in these models of enterprise modeling, which enables enterprise architect to model the future state of the business and alignment to the IT. And of course, to leverage more and more AI as we are stepping into this. And where we are making our investment is really in the enterprise architecture workspace. The enterprise architecture workspace is really where this magic happens, where we bring enterprise architects with the other relevant teams that work on the ServiceNow platform to view the same common service data model. So this is really what differentiates these products, is the ability to connect the same people working on the platform on the same data. And of course, when we are using enterprise architecture, we leverage a lot of data that is already collected as part of the common service data model, as part of the CNDB. And this enables us, for example, when you're looking into the enterprise modeling and visualization that is already pass through several versions and iteration. When you're looking into this, it's really easy to create your operational model with one click. You generate the current state of your operational model, and from there you can create future versions of your enterprise modeling of what you are planning to build in your organization. And as I mentioned, over the recent releases in Zurich, we have added the ability to support the business process modeling with the BPMN. And the nice thing about it is that it can be connected and related also to the entities in the CNDB. So if you're having activities in your business process, you can collect them to your business applications or to users. So this gives you the proper impact in your application, also the ability to model value streams. We continue to invest a lot in traditional application portfolio management. Enterprise architects still needs to cut costs for their organization, and they need to be able to view which applications are the ones that they want to support and maintain in the future, and which ones are better fit for retirement or maybe to migrate to other areas to invest their money. So there is a lot of investment in the application rationalization model, understanding how applications are behaving, with whom they are integrating, what's the cost of these applications, which applications have more technical depth and technical issues, and so on. So to bring you the proper picture of where to invest and where to what to retire. And of course, there is a lot of focus on business capability and value stream management, the top level of the business architecture, to understand also the business consequences of impact and of the investment. And the last part is, of course, the ability, because we are working in part of the ServiceNow platform and can integrate with our software asset management, hardware asset management, and the CMDB and discovery, that you are able to map your IT environment, you're also able to take the technology knowledge and to understand where, for example, you have a technology lifecycle management on which applications and how critical is it for you, which critical business applications and critical business capabilities can be impacted for this. So this is all already delivered with the additional features that we delivered as part of our Zurich release. And let me dive a little bit into the specific features that were delivered into the Zurich release. And as some of you will know, we are calling it the Zurich release, but actually in the enterprise architecture and in several other ServiceNow products, we're actually delivering features every quarter. So every quarter you will see more and more updates that are delivered into the ServiceNow store, and together they accumulate into the official Zurich release. In this case is no different. And I already started to mention the enterprise modeling. So already in our May release that was released into the store, we added the business process modeling. We completed the Archimate modeling, having all the components of the Archimate. We added value streams into the modeling, so you can now model from the level of value streams, going down to the value stream stages, to the business capabilities and the business applications that are using them. There is also quite a lot of investment that we are doing to improve the user experience. So if you're an enterprise architect, a solution architect, you're really going into the enterprise architecture workspace and are equipped with a much easier tools. For example, on the modeling, we're talking about things that you'll find as standards: rotations, undo, and redo, all these things that above of connecting your data to the ServiceNow platform, you're also able to see things in a nicer way and do them in a much easier way. And this was really also the first cycles where we started to add AI. So you'll see summarization of architectural decision records and other AI components that we added to the pictures. Also in the August release, there were quite a lot of AI features that we added. For example, and this was the first of its kind, the ability to actually generate a future model or a current state model directly using an AI prompt. So this is really an ability that you can enter, discuss with a chatbot, and he will interact with our modeling and create this diagram for you, or the other way around, to look into existing model and being able to summarize this model in a textual that can be, for example, delivered to a non-technical person so he can understand what this model is all about. On the technology portfolio and on the alignment of technologies and AI usage, we know that enterprise architects are not just using AI for themselves. They're actually, in many cases, the gatekeepers or the governors or the ones that needs to understand how AI is being used in the organization. So you will see, and we already started to deliver more and more tools that allow enterprise architects to actually control AI and to align the AI systems that they are using, for example, AI models, LLMs, AI agents, to the business applications that are using them. I will actually show a short demo of it today, and the business capabilities that are using them. And of course, as I mentioned, a lot of investment on the enterprise modeling. So it's really becoming a powerful product, the enterprise modeling, as part of the enterprise architecture to model the future state of your organization. So this is just, and you see, I'm not passing through all the features. There are a lot of features. These are just the main ones. it's of course very important to emphasize the fact that as part of the enterprise architecture, we see a growing role for the AI because eventually AI can look into the data that we collect in the enterprise architecture side, but not just in the enterprise architecture. It's really the data that you have as part of the platform. This might be, as I mentioned, data that you collect as part of your discovery process or data that you have as part of your strategic portfolio management, where you are managing project or agile delivery, and you want to understand how it all connects together. And AI with the platform capabilities of ServiceNow supporting the AI agents and the creation of AI agents. And over here, you are seeing the, I would say, just the start of the waveline that I would say will transform not just, of course, our product, but the entire industry of our enterprise architects are looking into the world, how they are taking decisions. So more and more tools to provide insights and recommendations for enterprise architecture based on this data. And again, there is no AI that can work with the vacuum of data. And we are, I would say, have the fortunate to sit on top of this vast amount of connected and related data so we can provide insight based of total cost of ownership on the projects that are related to the data, on the business capabilities that are planned to be supported, on the technical sides of this application. These are things that we started to do. So for example, we will see today a few of these things: business application insights and architectural decision record summary. And again, these are just, I would say, we are just starting to scratch the iceberg of what we can deliver with AI. So more and more capabilities powered by AI are going to be delivered in the future. And it's, of course, needless to say that on the ServiceNow platform, there is also the AI Agent Studio, where actually what we are building can be built also by partner and by US customers alike. So it's really, I would say, a system where you can both leverage what we deliver, like these AI components that we use, and also create and deliver your own ideas and your own strategy if there is a need to do so. And with this, what I'd like to do in the next few minutes is just to show just a short live example of our enterprise architecture workspace and what with several of the things that we are supporting in our Zurich release. And what you will see here is the enterprise architecture workspace. And hopefully you can see it. Now, this is the enterprise architecture workspace that I am discussing as part of the Zurich release with the ability to see data of enterprise architecture. And today we'll see the journey of an enterprise architect that want to take his legacy systems that are performing, I would say, with a lack of business value, don't deliver enough business value, have technical issues, and transform them into a future state architecture supported and powered by AI. And one of the areas that many enterprise architects are using is the ability to rationalize this business application. We provide it over here in the section of application rationalization. And in this section, when you're, as an enterprise architect, looking into the data, you can see a lot of applications that are being delivered, and you can see which ones are delivering more value and which ones are delivering less value. You can also transform and change how you see this information, by which criteria you're using this information. So this is really information that can be viewed in different formats. And you can also see it over here with the ability to see the actual scores that are driven for the business application. So over here, for example, we can see a legacy application that we have, which is the attendance payroll management system. And when we look into this, it gets really a very, very low score. These scores are scores that we collect from data that exists both on the platform. For example, the number of incidents, we can see that it gets a low score on the number of incidents. So this is data that we actually bring from your IT service management system that is running within the ServiceNow. We can also understand what is the business value of the application and collect data related to the customer satisfaction. This can be done via assessment that are built into the product, built into the platform. And eventually we understand that this is a very, I would say, low-hanging fruit for rationalizing it. And we will go and see, for example, why is the data saying that we have a low technical score. So we actually can go and see the exact information for this business application. When I click over here, I will already see the exact information of this business application. I can also go and specifically look into this business application. And one thing that you see when we are going to this business application, there is a lot of data that we collect. This is data that comes from the platform, from the technology, from the business, from the integrations of this business application. And of course, when you have so much data and for so many applications, generating insights with AI become really handy. And what we are doing here is we're actually providing two things. One is what is the summary of this business application, so you can see it in a very easy way. And the other one is our insights about this business application, about the cost of the business application, about the technologies this business applications is using. So these insights can provide you the ability to take better decisions. We can also see the technology lifecycle of this business application. And in this case, we are looking into all the software and hardware that this business application is using. This is data that is collected by our item product with life cycles coming up from our software asset management and hardware asset management. We can see that we have real gaps on these things. Sometimes we'll have end of support or end of extended support. So this is a real application that I need to take a decisions to move into a modernized systems. In this case, I can see that I took this decision. I have a decision record that I created as an enterprise architect. And in this decision record, I summarize this decision. One of the interesting things is in this decision record that this document actually enables me to refer to specific objects. This is a live link for the business applications or refer to specific users on the platform. I can also embed within this decision the actual diagrams of what I'm planning to do with this application. And if this decision is becoming too lengthy, I can summarize it and I can review the consequences and the context of this specific decision. Again, this is supported by our AI platform, so it's embedded just within this decision. And the last thing, I also engage with the enterprise modeling. So I embedded the actual link for the architectural that is being used by this application. And when I click over it, I will go to my enterprise modeling where I will see the current architectural state of my business application. I can see that I have this business application. I can see the specific applications that are supported by it. I can also see the actual software and hardware that is being used, and I can also see which business capabilities are supported by it. And as I mentioned, this is an application that we want to transform because it's supporting a critical business process. So what I did, I created a future state of this model, and in this future state, I'm already using a modernized capabilities of the ServiceNow HR, and as I can see here, it's using AI platform and it's using AI agents. These are components that are real. These are the real AI agents and the real AI platform. We are leveraging our AI control tower to use them. And as we can see, we modernize now our run monthly payroll business process that was supported by it. If I want to model it further, I can use these icons on the left, drag and drop them into the platform. But what I will do now is I will go and see the business process model that I've had for the run monthly payroll. And if I'm going and looking into the business process model, as you can see, I already have here quite a lot of other diagrams that I created. And in this run monthly payroll, what I can see is I can see the business process modeling with the specific lanes starting from the HR management and how it works. A unique thing about it that it's connected to the business application also. This is a real connection to live data in the CMDB, which enables me also to see the impact of the changes if I'm changing any of the activities. we can see that on this version, the first version of the business process, because it's using legacy application, there are a lot of manual activities that I had to create. These are also elements in our CNDB. There's not just icons. This is real data from the CNDB. And if I move into the next version of it, in version 2, I'm already using the modernized ServiceNow HR system, which enables me to move many more operations to be system activities and not manual activities. Some of the operations still supported by manual activities, of course, that needs interactions with the HR people that are leveraging these AI agents, but I can continue to craft here my business process based on this new agent, based on these new AI capabilities that I have. So this was just a short demo of how we can take our capabilities around application rationalization, moving from a legacy business application, understanding the reasons for them, taking the decisions of how to move to a newer application supported by AI, and actually crafting the future state modeling, aligning this with our AI estate in the company. And with this, Deborah, I'll move it back to you. I think this will be moved to Greg to present some of the capabilities for the strategic portfolio management. So I'll stop sharing here. Please, Greg. Continue.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, thanks, Doran. Yes, Greg is up. We had a ton of questions. You might want to take a look at a few of them that I've answered. Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing what we have released with enterprise architecture over the years. And great review there, Doran, from enterprise architecture in the Zurich release. So with that, let's switch over to strategic portfolio management, and let's talk about some of the areas that we've improved upon through time. And as with previous slide you saw with enterprise architecture, Doran really highlighted this around some of the rapid innovation that we make, as sometimes as once a quarter through store releases. A lot of times our customers tell us that they love to see the amount of capabilities we release on a fast-moving basis. So these rapid release cycles ensure that organizations such as yours can help quickly leverage those capabilities in areas like strategic portfolio management and collaborative work management, helping you to align strategy to execution, value, and really drive those cross-functional collaborations. I want to also highlight that speed alone really isn't the goal. Most important is the relevance and critical needs that are important as well. We actively partner with customers through our advisory councils, our feedback programs, our user research to really prioritize what matters most to you. This ongoing collaboration really enables us to deliver solutions that not only meet today's needs, but also anticipate tomorrow's challenges, empowering customers to really plan strategically, execute efficiently, and really stay ahead in this fast-changing world. So let's begin by covering some of the major and minor updates to strategic portfolio management. We won't be able to cover all of these updates today, so please make sure you check out our community site for more details. Following these SPM updates, we'll turn it over to Lillian, who will speak on collaborative work management. So let's start with some of the updates for two new major enhancements, starting off first with this addition of AI strategy into our AI control tower capability, also known as AICT. You may have heard Doran mention that very briefly with enterprise architecture. So for those here on this webinar today that may not be familiar, let me introduce you to the AI Control Tower, which is designed to govern enterprise AI initiatives with clarity, speed, and confidence. AI leaders today lack a real-time strategic lens across goals, risks, and prioritized work that really creates some blind spots in execution and compliance. So the business need is really clear. Governance teams require centralized visibility to steer strategy, optimize execution, and ensure those regulatory compliance across departments. So our solution is the AI Control Tower dashboard, a single executive-ready view that aggregates all AI-tagged entities. That would be goals, work, risk, investments, and pipeline. It unifies visibility across the enterprise, empowers leadership with department-level and enterprise-level analytics, and really drives strategic control by surfacing trends, gaps, high-risk areas, all within AI execution. So in short, you can monitor and analyze all AI-aligned strategy and work in one place, and you can act on that. So out of the box, you get 4 core analytics. starting with AI strategy tracking, show progress against AI goals and priorities so leaders can see what's advancing and what's off track. Next is AI investment costs. Visualize that spend analysis across AI initiatives to align funding to value and manage your runway. Next is prioritized AI work, which provides a focused view of the AI work that matters most, thereby improving throughput and alignment. And last is AI RIDAC. That really allows you to review and act on risks, issues, decisions, actions, and changes that are specific to your AI delivery, thus enabling proactive mitigation and governance. So just to kind of go a little deeper on that, users can drill down on any chart by department or strategic priority to get fast targeted insights without losing enterprise picture. So for admins and or power users, you can do straightforward editing, navigating through platform analytics and dashboards, and you can select those relevant AI control tower charts, including the SPW set for AICT here to tailor labels, filters, and thresholds to your governance model. So lots of ways to provide some insights and in-depth updates in the view. Previously, there was really no single place to track AI initiatives against those goals and targets. So now with the AI Control Tower, organizations can govern, monitor, and comply with strategic confidence. They can move from fragmented oversight to data-driven proactive control. So the bottom line is the AI Control Tower really gives executives and stewards a unified real-time command view so they can prioritize intelligently, they can help to course correct early, and help manage risk and prove that value from those AI investments. We'll also do a demo of this shortly. So moving on, let's talk a little about this second major update we have, and that is in financials and strategic planning workspace. So let's talk about financials on planning items, which is a capability to design to bring cost planning to where strategy actually lives. So today, many organizations can only track financials on demands, projects, and certain epics because of a technical dependency on core task tables. So that dependency blocks cost visibility on EAP epics, also known as enterprise agile planning, without core epics, as well as on features, capabilities, and higher level entities such as programs and initiatives. So that results in some friction in portfolio planning and slower adoption of enterprise agile planning. So our solution here is simple. We've removed the reliance on core task tables so you can capture financials directly on planning items, that being those demands, projects, and epics, and so on, without any integration to those core tasks. So there's now a dedicated financials planning experience for epics that works out of the box. This unlocks earlier cost capture and portfolio planning and enhances that support for lean agile portfolios and really more reliable agile forecasting because you can estimate, refine, you can govern that cost at the right level all before the execution work even starts. So what does this enable? It enables to deliver financials without dependencies. So there's no more waiting on task integrations. You can plan directly on those epics, demands, and projects to keep that strategy and spend aligned. You can help to improve forecasting by pulling costs forward into the planning cycle. And lastly, drive adoption of that portfolio strategic planning workspace, accelerate your enterprise agile planning uptake by making lean budgeting easier and more consistent. So by decoupling financials from core tasks, we've put that cost visibility where portfolio decisions are made, enabling earlier, more accurate forecasts, smoother lean budgeting, and broader adoption of strategic and enterprise agile planning. And we'll also show a demo of this in just one moment. Moving into improvements in strategic planning workspace, we're featuring some consistent roadmap colors, roadmap bar colors to make portfolio visualization clearer and more reliable. So today, color drift across portfolios can create some confusion. It really doesn't help. It slows down some executive reviews, maybe leading to some misinterpretation during status checks. So our solution helps to standardize that color mapping across all the roadmaps. So the same color is always represented the same status or category. So this preserves familiar legends, helps to accelerate some of those executive reviews. It reduces some errors that you may have in planning discussions. So the result is a more intuitive, consistent visual experience that supports faster, more confident decision making. So by eliminating the ambiguity, we're helping organizations maintain clarity and alignment across portfolios, because when colors are consistent, those insights are immediate. Moving on into our support date here, we see We've done some enhancement with portfolio planning with advanced quick filters to make managing complex portfolios faster and more precise. Previously, quick filters were limited to certain field types. That was forcing some teams to rely on manual searches for Boolean and string fields. Now we've expanded filtering options to include those Boolean and string fields, giving planners precise control and eliminating workarounds. So this means you can quickly isolate the data you need, accelerate planning workflows, and align filtering capabilities with customer expectations for flexibility and depth. So the result is a faster decision making, less time spent searching, and a smoother planning experience that scales with portfolio complexity. It's about giving you the tools to plan smarter and move faster. The next one we'll talk about here on the minor enhancement updates is around financials in Project Workspace. So we're introducing some new display modes in financials to give organizations greater flexibility in how they manage and review costs. Today, those financial reviews need to often align with some specific organizational practices, and our solution helps make that possible. But with these enhancements, you can now switch between 4 display modes to match your financial operations. This includes the ability to view and edit planned costs for past fiscal periods when actuals aren't recorded, which is something many teams have been asking for. At the same time, we've preserved modern forecasting visibility while giving you full control over planned costs across all those periods. So the result here is a financial experience that adapts to your governance model. It really supports your accurate planning and consistency in those reviews. It's about making financial management more intuitive and aligned with how your organization operates. So let's move now towards improvements in resource management and project management workspaces. Now our customers have the ability to create a resource board directly from a project, giving project managers instant visibility into who is staffing their project and where the conflicts exist. Previously, this required some manual navigation, created some resource cards one by one, which is a time-consuming process. So now with a single click, you can open resource management from any project and automatically generate a project-based resource card. This provides a shared read-only view of resources, making it easier to check for conflicts, assess that workload, and align planning and forecasting with resource managers. By some of the hearts I'm seeing here, it looks like people are very appreciative of this. So the result is faster, more transparent coordination between the project and resource management teams, helping to reduce some of the friction in the process and really improving that planning accuracy. So in short, we've streamlined resource visibility so project managers can focus on execution and not necessarily navigation. Another enhancement we made into Resource Management Workspace is allowing our customers to move resource assignments to make rescheduling easier and more predictable. Previously, shifting resource assignments often changed task effort or duration unintentionally, and it created some rework and some data inconsistencies. So now you can move resource assignments without altering task effort or duration. This protects the underlying task math during counter shifts, helps to reduce the risk of errors, and really saves you time. It also simplifies conflict resolution and what-if planning because outcomes are consistent and predictable. So the result is a low-friction way to adjust schedules while maintaining task integrity and provide that accurate capacity signals. In short, this feature gives project managers the flexibility they need without compromising data quality or that planning accuracy. So in alignment with expanding customer needs for supporting different financial rates for resources, we've also now added the rate model support for planning items to help really close the critical gap in financial visibility. Previously, financial tracking was limited to execution items, which meant users had to switch workspaces to see cost data. It really slowed down planning and creating inefficiencies. So now you can apply rate models directly to planning items like epics and other high-level entities. So this enables accurate cost calculations early in the planning process without leaving your current workspace. By unifying that financial visibility across planning and execution, organizations can forecast more effectively and make better informed decisions. So this results in a streamlined financial management, improved forecasting accuracy, and more connected planning experience. In short, we're making it easier to manage costs where strategy begins, and that's at that planning level. So we'll wrap up here by highlighting another improvement we've made, this time in our Now Assist capabilities and our project email summaries. We've enhanced project email summaries to give project managers faster, smarter ways to keep stakeholders aligned. Previously, sending updates to additional recipients required manual forwarding, critical path monitoring dependent on admin configurations, and that was slowing communication and decision making. Now you can generate on demand AI-powered summaries and send them instantly to multiple stakeholders, not just project managers. So you can also add additional recipients as needed and even enable the Monitor Project Task AI agent to track critical path changes with no admin setup required. So with a simple checkbox, you can trigger summaries based on critical path, use the schedule and send for immediate distribution, which allows for faster self-service communication, better visibility into critical tasks, and improved agility across your entire team or teams. To summarize, we've eliminated delays and complexity here, giving project managers the ability to share tailored, actionable insights in real time so decisions happen faster and alignment stays strong. So let's wrap up with our demo in the AI Control Tower and financials on planning items. And with that, let's start with our AI Control Tower. So if this is the first time that you're seeing the AI Control Tower, you can see that there's a tremendous amount of data within this view, starting at the top here with items to review around AI use cases that were recently added, AI assets that might be pending review, and even some new AI systems that were added into our system. You see a lot of menu options available here around some of the overview. Let's start here with some of the AI systems that you're onboarding, some that you may be assessing, building and testing and deploying. You can then further filter these by maybe some system types, agentic, generative, classic, risk classifications, systems by provider, systems trends, and so on. Getting a lot of understanding into some of the cases we may have by priority and the like. We can even focus on things like evaluation and understand how do we evaluate some of those AI capabilities and how do we bring them to bear. And then how do we maybe look with our adoption from some of these agents that we're creating across the entire platform. But what we have added with SPM is the ability to hone in very specifically on your strategy. We talked about some of those 4 key areas that we've added in this view, and that's really making sure that you are focused on your AI strategy at your organization and you understand what some of those alignments look like. What is it you're expected to deliver? And how do we have those amazing outcomes that we're looking for from using agentic AI? So that allows us to understand what is our goal status by some of those AI strategic priorities. These all fall under that strategy component we talked about earlier. I can then break down into a little bit more details from the goals and some of those components that are connected in here under each strategic priority. What are those individual goals? How are they progressing? What is the status of those? We can see our target status by AI goals as well. So are we focused on the right things? Is our targets being met? And then what are some of those targets that we have based underneath those goals? We talked about some of those 4 other elements, and that's around cost as well, making sure we have some of our costs tracked around those projects. How are those looking and trending? The planned cost versus the budget versus the actual. Are we prioritizing the right work? So let's focus on low, medium, high. What's some of the ongoing work that we're working on with some filtration capabilities here between some of those different states? And then what's some of that upcoming work that we may have through demands or maybe big epics that we're moving through the system? And then following this up by AI RIDAC. So this allows us to then understand those risk issues, decisions, and actions that are taking place. We may have 3 in here. We could easily click into those and get visibility around some of those. So this really allows you then to establish that AI strategy within your organization. Do that in strategic portfolio management. Set those strategic priorities. Set those goals and targets that you're looking to accomplish within your organizations. Many of us have had a chance to talk with customers at AI summits, and some customers have come and given me feedback after sessions and said, where do I start? And so we have done some simple walkthroughs of how you can do that within the platform today. So let's move on to some of the other major changes that we talked about. And that is when you think about this, we now have that visibility. We saw those goals and targets. This is where it's going to be visible within strategic planning workspace, and you can have that within your portfolio plan. So then we are switching gears into the planning and execution side of the world. This is everything that you saw within the AI control tower, being able to then say, okay, what are those goals and targets that we have in the organization? And I can very much focus in the details of some of the work items that are taking place to be able to accelerate that AI investment across the business. So you can see the connective tissue we have between the AI control tower and continuing that through some of those portfolio plans. So last, let's switch gears into the financial updates. We did talk about how financials on the planning items, and I'm moving into a new portfolio plan in here. And I'm going to focus very specifically on this AI-driven collaboration epic. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the specific epic. And let's talk a little bit about some of the financials and connected work that we have in here. So we can see that we're coming back to those goals and target relationships, making sure we understand that this is the work that is intended to deliver on some of these goals and targets that we talked about earlier. But we have some very specific financials that we need to focus on at a high level. And this is where we're beginning to get visibility to those. And we're seeing some of those CapEx and OpEx components that have been identified. And then we also talked about some of those differences that we're providing today around the differences between some of those forecasts, past forecasting, budget allocation, planned actuals, and planned work. So this is just a quick highlight into some of the updates that we've made with Zurich. And with that, I'm going to come back to our presentation here and turn it over to Lillian. So take it away, Lillian.
Thank you, Greg. Hi, everyone. I'm Lillian Yang, and I lead the inbound product team for collaborative work management. And we're super excited to share today some of our new Zurich release items. So starting with the store release in Q2, we did introduce some new analysis capabilities for CWM, including the ability to generate tasks from docs as well as summarize and paraphrase within our docs component. We introduced better ways to organize your spaces and navigate between CWM, including search. And with Zurich, we're introducing connected work and sprint planning, which we'll demo right now. Next slide. So today we'll go through the journey of Aaron Peterson, and he is a senior infrastructure engineer for his data center ops team. And for him and his team, they juggle day-to-day ops tasks, change implementations, and urgent incidents. They're currently all tracked across different tools. It's hard for him and his team to prioritize, and they don't know who's overloaded or when they'll deliver on that work. So with Agile Sprint Planning and Connected Work, Aaron will be able to surface up any task record, including incidents, problems, and changes. And he'll be able to time box that work with sprints for better focus, productivity, and predictability. He'll be able to balance his team workload with capacity planning across different item types, all while working in one workspace. And with that, I'll go ahead and jump right into our demo. So Aaron is in his collaborative work management workspace, and you can see here that Aaron has a lot of overdue items, so he better get to work on managing that work. So jumping into his data center ops team board, we're going to go ahead and minimize this navigation right here so we can focus on the work at hand. In this board, his team manages lots of different work items, including daily tasks such as updating asset tags for new inventory coming in. They may manage maintenance tasks such as inspecting new power distribution units or documentation tasks such as creating new racking diagrams. Or they may have other work coming in from the platform, such as change requests to add new network switches. Aaron and his team also get assigned to incidents and problems. So we'll see how connected work can allow him to bring that work into CWM so he can have a unified visibility into all of the work that his team is assigned to. So opening up this new connected work module, Aaron is actually able to bring in any task record across ServiceNow into CWM. So if he wants to bring in a new incident record, he'll add in a new work item type. Here he'll find the incident table and add some condition criteria to filter to the right incidents. So for Aaron and his team, he wants to see any incident that is assigned to his data center ops team. And he can continue to add other criteria such as P0 tasks assigned to Aaron or his team. Similarly, we're going to bring in problem records that are assigned to Aaron and his team. And you can see that 2 problem records are relevant to him and his team. And here we're demonstrating an IT example of problems, incidents, and change requests being brought into connected work. But we have seen this used across both IT and non-IT use cases where you're bringing in catalog requests, project tasks, demand tasks, and other types of work all in a single workspace. Once Aaron saves these new item types, they will appear in his board. So you can see 2 new incidents and 2 new problem records have been brought into his CWM board. We're bringing in the actual record type so Aaron can see all the details of that incident, make changes directly here in that record, add his activity or any attachments, and update that record without having to leave this workspace. Combine that with the flexibility of CWM, he can add in custom item type, custom columns, such as if he needs a new custom column called Go Live Date, he has the flexibility of CWM. Aaron's going to add a new column type called Go Live Date, and he's able to layer that with the incidents and problems he just brought in and use this as a new field. I've also created new label columns in CWM so he can label the incidents as corrective tasks that he needs to work on. And he can also layer in the different view types to manage the work in CWM however his team likes. So if Aaron and his team are a small infrastructure team of 3 members and they just need a list to see all the different types of work they're assigned to, they can use the list view to prioritize the work that's coming in, see one single view of all that work without having to swivel chair. Or if he wants to see that work in a timeline view, he can use that Gantt view to start organizing work against a timeline. Or if his team wants to start adopting some agile processes, he can use the Kanban view to visualize that work in vertical lanes. He can visualize that work and start assigning work across assignees, or change that vertical lane to state to start moving that work across the progress as they move along that work. And say Aaron wants to start doing sprint planning to time box that work. All he has to do is jump into that sprint planning view. We're going to go ahead and focus on that backlog view first. So Aaron and his team is able to see all different types of work, including incidents and changes on one view in his backlog, and he's going to go and prioritize that work. He's going to move the incident to the top because those items have the shortest SLAs for his team. Once that backlog is prioritized, he can go ahead and create his first sprint. So let's call this sprint 1 and add capacity to that sprint. And Aaron likes to plan multiple sprints at a time, so we'll go ahead and add sprint 2 and sprint 3. The sprints will automatically enumerate as well as carry over details from the previous sprint, such as the duration and capacity. Once those sprints are created, Aaron can start doing sprint planning. And let's go ahead and start planning across multiple sprints. And when we bring in an item into CWM with connected work, Aaron is able to use 3 new agile fields, including sprint, story points, and acceptance criteria. That means that Aaron is able to assign capacity to any type of work. And when unplanned work, such as new incident, comes in and causes his team to go over capacity, Aaron is able to respond quickly and adjust his team's effort and move lower priority work to the following sprint. So once that sprint is balanced, Aaron can start on that work and start working through the sprint items either through the sprint planning view or in his Kanban view. Let's say Aaron is working on some of the items in his sprint, such as creating that new racking diagram. He's able to use our docs component to collaborate with his team members, tag relevant records related to that work, as well as team members so that they can collaborate together. Additionally, he can use Now Assist to help him find action items within his documents. So for example, Aaron may have some action items in this racking diagram, and he's going to ask Now Assist to create some tasks in CWM. You see here, Aaron noted that legacy Cisco routers have to be removed, and Now Assist is suggesting that to be created as a task in CWM so that he can turn unstructured data into actionable items for his team to follow up on later. Once Now Assist has identified those tasks, he's going to add them to his CWM board so he can track them. Now Aaron can see that in his CWM board, those tasks have now been automatically added into his board so his team can follow up on the proper follow-ups for that work. As Aaron completes the items in his sprints, he's going to go ahead and complete the sprint, and he has the choice to move open items into sprint 2 or the backlog. He's going to roll over those items to sprint 2 and create a retro board for his team so that they can provide feedback on how well that sprint went. Aaron can set a template for his team so that they can have a centralized process on how they run their sprint retros. Completing that sprint, Aaron is able to see that those stories have rolled over to sprint number 2, any open items, and his team has a retro board to give feedback on how that sprint went. Additionally, Aaron is able to connect his CWM board with goals and also connect his work to strategy so that his team can connect their work to the outcomes that they're delivering on, as well as align to strategy. So as we jump into strategic planning workspace, Aaron is able to see a full roadmap across all his planning items, whether that's demands, projects, epics, or CWM boards, and prioritize them with this in one single view and see a roadmap of all the different planning items in one roadmap. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to jump back into our roadmap, our plans for CWM. So you just saw here, we introduced Agile Sprint Planning into CWM so that the tool adapts to how you work, whether you want to work in an ad hoc manner using list view, Kanban, or Agile Sprint Planning. You have the flexibility for CWM to adapt to how your team works. We also introduced Connected Work, so you have one single pane of glass for your teams to see all the work that's assigned to them. Looking into the future, we're envisioning CWM and EAP as one system from strategy to execution, so that no matter your level of planning and complexity, strategic planning workspace can support you. So in EAP, you can define the goals and objectives for your planning increment, break that epic down to stories and planning increments, create sprints and manage cross-team dependencies. But at the team level, your team is able to do the sprint planning and execution, connect to unplanned or planned work, and continuously sync that progress back into EAP for visibility for your portfolio managers and your RTEs. And then you'll be able to do retrospectives within CWM at the team level, as well as the PI level across teams. Furthermore, in EAP and CWM, you'll be able to see visibility for all planning levels, whether that's your portfolio level, your solution train level, your teams of teams, or your single team level, managing work types across from epics, capabilities, features, and stories. And we'll be able to embed the CWM workspace directly within EAP so that you have one single experience without having to leave your EAP or CWM workspace. Connected Work and Agile Sprint Planning unlocks the power of the ServiceNow single platform by unifying all work from strategy to execution. We have one data model that connects agile, operation, and everyday work for seamless visibility. You'll have end-to-end alignment from enterprise planning and strategic goals to your team execution. And this is the foundation for your AI workflows by bringing structured and unstructured work into one system of record. Thank you. With that, I'll pass this back to Deborah McGrath for upcoming events and resources.
Thanks so much, Lillian. And the number of questions started to explode once you started talking about collaborative work management. So you might want to take a look at some of those as well. Thank you all for your questions. Yeah, we appreciate them. So I just wanted to go over a couple events and have some resources to share with you all before we wrap up today. So the first one, and I apologize, I just asked you to look at the questions, Lillian, but I know you have to advance slides. So the first one, we have some getting started materials for connected work and agile planning. We have a Delta deck showing the new features. There's an FAQ, as well as some guidance on collaborative work management with enterprise agile planning. So please take a look at these, scan these QR codes. Again, we will be publishing this recording. So if you miss anything, be sure to take a look back at that. I posted the links in the chat, so take a look at it. Next up, tomorrow we have our Enterprise Architecture Vision Series, September 30th. for the Americas and Europe, as well as in Asia Pac on October 1st. And it's not too late to register for this. This biannual event is 2 hours of dedicated focus on enterprise architecture. You'll hear a keynote from Yoav Boaz, our VP and General Manager of our PM business unit. You'll see 2 amazing customer presentations by US Bank and Amgen. And we'll have a demo, best practices, guidance, and last but not least, you'll hear more about our roadmap for enterprise architecture. So scan these QR codes to register. Our next SPM Academy will be on Thursday, October 30th. So going back to Thursdays, Josh Sutton will be joining us for a thought-provoking presentation on realizing value with strategic portfolio management. And again, this is one of those webinars you do not want to miss. Josh is an incredible presenter, and his discussion will resonate with everyone. So scan this QR code to register for that. And of course, you can register for any of our Live on ServiceNow events at community.servicenow.com and check out the links. I also posted this here. If you need more about anything about our Zurich release, I posted the link in the chat section, but you can go to servicenow.com now-platform/latest-release, and you can access this page and you can navigate to anything related to our Zurich release. So I believe that's just about it for our events and resources. I just wanted to say thank you so much, Lillian Yang, Doron Orbach, Greg Sand. Thanks to John Lim, who helped me set this up. And of course, thanks to everyone who's joined us today. We appreciate it. If we didn't get to your question, we'll take a look at it and we'll try to post that as well. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.